A psychologist in the United States once embarked on a campaign to end drinking of alcohol, or those that are addicted to alcohol in the United States. Now, he gathered a group of alcoholics, organized a sensitization training for them. And when he was in the process of training them, he did a demonstration. So in that demonstration, he put 2 glasses of one of water and the other one of alcohol. So he put a worm in each of the 2 glasses, one of the alcohol and one of the water. Then he asked them to observe what is happening. So after 5 minutes, they checked and they realized that the one in the water, the worm was able to swim from one corner of the water to the other corner of the water. So it was able to swim across and living healthy in the water. Then for the alcohol, the worm, all of a sudden, it got destroyed and in the process dissolved in the whole of the water. So it died and got rotten and dissolved in the water because of the alcohol. Now, the psychologist asked them to tell their observation and what exactly that means, or the lesson they learned from that. Then one man from the back got up and then told him that what he has observed is that when you drink alcohol, then there will be no worms in your body, or all the worms in your body will be killed. Now, what is the lesson of this story? When you pre-program your mind that you won't stop something or you will not do something, you will always find excuses to justify it. Yeah, he said that when you drink alcohol, it will kill worms in your body. That is the part that he saw. Meanwhile, we all could see that if the alcohol is able to dissolve the worm and destroy the worm, you can imagine what that alcohol will do to your intestines. But he didn't see it that way. He rather saw it as the fact that the worm, once it has killed worms, then worms in your body will die when you take alcohol. So what I'm just trying to say is that when you program your mind in a certain direction, then you will always see everything in that direction. Now, today I want to give you 5 excuses you must avoid if you want to be rich and successful. 5 excuses. And these 5 excuses, I decided to give you this story because all the 5 excuses I'm going to give, most of you have those excuses, and you have those excuses because you have already programmed your mind in a certain direction that you are not willing to listen to any other thing else. And that is why these examples are necessary for you so that you can change. There is a saying that if you really, really want to do something, you will find a way of doing it. If you don't want to do it, then you find an excuse. Excuse number 1 you must avoid if you want to be successful in life is, I don't have money. Majority of you here will tell me that you want to start a business, but you don't have the money. But to the best of my knowledge and my research over the years, I've realized that all those who say they don't have money to start a business, they are not actually lacking money. They are lacking something other than money. And what is that something? It is the idea. And when I say it is the idea, I'm not just saying, just thinking, oh, I have an idea, I want to do this. No, if you have an idea should be written down. If you have a business idea and you have not been able to get money to execute that plan, the truth I'm asking you is, do you have a business plan? If I come to you today and ask you, can I see your business plan? Can you get it for me? If there are investors who are coming to fund businesses, do you think you can just go and tell them, oh, I need money to go and then open a cold store business. I need money to go and then start the industrial manufacture of a certain product, and they'll give you the money? No one will give you money like that. It doesn't happen that way. If you think you really have an idea and you don't have money to do it, what should you do? You should develop the idea. Have a written down plan. Have a business plan. Have a plan about the industry analysis. Have a plan about the gap you are coming to fill. No investor will give you money if there is no gap your business is coming to fill. So your business should be coming to fill a certain gap. If there's no gap that you are coming to fill, then there's no need for that business because it will collapse. Probably someone is already offering the same business. If you see someone selling cement and then you also get up, oh, me too, I want to sell cement. Then they give you money. You go and open a cement, what do you call a shop, and then you start selling cement. Is that business you are doing? At the end of the day, most of you, the business will fail within a short time. That is why you need to do research. You need to write a business plan. You need to look. You should extrapolate, do your research very well, and be able to see in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time, where is the business likely to be? At what particular point will you be able to break even? So all these things, you need to do them. You need to have a written out plan. Let me give you my own story. When I was writing my book and I was in a university, I didn't have money to publish the book. A lot of people promised to help me, my family members, my friends. But at the time I was supposed to publish it, all of them told me things were hard for them and they could not help. And that time I was in Kumasi. I traveled to Kumasi to publish the book. I was miserable, crying, because the time I finished everything and produced the first copy of the book and it was left with the money to publish it in large quantities, I didn't have the money. But guess what? As I was crying, a certain lady saw me and asked me, "Oh, young man, why are you crying?" In fact, she was speaking in Chi, but I couldn't speak very well, but I responded. And along the line, she asked me to go and see someone and then show him that, okay, this is what I have. In fact, by then I had a first copy of the book, like a prototype to show. So she told me to go and talk to someone. A person was a businessman and a pastor, that I should show whatever I have to him and see what he can do. I went and spoke to the person, and the person listened to my story and told me that, okay, me, I have a printing press. The first 200 copies, I will print those books for you, and then you go and sell. If you come back and pay, I will continue to print the books for you again. And that was where I started. In fact, the first 200 copies, the man didn't even, he even printed it for me for free. It was the church that paid the first 200 copies for me. And up to now, I've never forgotten the effort the church made. Now, after they paid the first 200 copies for me, when I went and finished, I came back and invested that money back for them to print again for me, 400. Then, after I finished selling the 400, I went and came back for them to print 1,100 for me. After they finished the 1,100, I went and came back for them to print 2,000. After they printed 2,000, I went and came back for them to print 3,000. After they printed the 3,000, I went and came back for them to print 5,000. I did like that till I sold 45,000 copies of that book. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you to know that you can begin small. Most of the time, if you could take time and develop something, you'll be able to get someone that can help. If you don't have a business plan, if you don't have a prototype to show, don't tell me that you are looking for money to start a business. You don't even have an idea and no one will help you. Writing a business plan doesn't require money. Yes, if you don't know how to write, someone can write for you, but you yourself can also go and research and learn how to write it. That one, you should look for time to do that. Okay, so that is the excuse number one. Excuse number two, I don't have time. Now, most of you will say that you don't have time. You don't have time. But what I want to ask you is, in a day, you have 24 hours. The rich and the poor, the successful and the unsuccessful, everyone on this planet has the same amount of time in a day. Why is it that some are able to make $100,000 and some cannot make even $1? It depends on what you choose to invest your time on. So, you have to look. If you are working in a 5 to 9 job, a 9 to 5 job, that's like you work for 8 hours a day in a business or company or whatsoever. It means that if you take the one, that is like 1/3 of your time. Then if you look at if you take the amount you sleep, that is, you sleep about 8 hours. So you take 1/3 of your time too. So the remaining 1/3, which is 8 hours. So in every 24 hours, you spend 8 hours to sleep, 8 hours to work. The remaining 8 hours is your personal time. What do you do with it? Most of you cannot produce any single thing to show that my remaining 8 hours of the time, this is what I do. But you know that all the time you are losing today, you are losing them forever. From the time you started watching this video to now, you have lost that time forever and you can never have it again. So if you don't make good use of your time, if you don't prioritize what you use your time for, a day will come that you will regret it. You feel sorry for yourself because you are not going to regain this time back. So your time is gradually running out. So you need to prioritize. Don't be joking at all. Don't spend so much of your time on social media watching things that will not add any value to your life. Don't spend much of your time playing games. Don't spend much of your time doing unnecessary things. In anything that you are doing, always ask yourself, what value will this add to my life? That is what has been my guiding principle, and have always been avoiding time wastage. I encourage you to decide, to have goals, to have written down to-do lists that can help you avoid wasting time and always go direct to what you're supposed to do. The third excuse is, I am from a poor home or poor background. Let me tell you, 80% of the world's richest people came from poor homes. Someone said that you say, I'm from a poor background. If you get to 30 years, you are now the background. It is a complaint. We have all complained. It is true that some of us who didn't come from good homes, as compared to our colleagues who are from the very affluent homes, the opportunities are not the same for us. It's true. I agree that the opportunities are not the same for us. But I also want to let you know that most of the people that are also from the affluent homes too, they end up becoming like, because they are fed with silver spoons in their mouth, they are not able to think hard. You know, when you are not hungry, you don't think. When you are hungry, when you are suffering, when you are in poverty, you are able to think and come out with ideas. So everything has an advantage and disadvantage. So you have to identify your unfair advantage. Your unfair advantage should be that you are from a poor home, and then you have opportunities. It helps you to think. It helps you to be able to see certain problems that someone who is from a rich home will not know that these problems exist. So you should use your unfair advantage. Look at what your poverty, your poor background will help you. Be able to think, come up with ideas. Because if you look at the 80%, the top 80% of the richest people in the world, there are notable ones that I can tell you. Jeff Bezos, yes, he was born in the United States, but you know that Jeff Bezos' mother was in fact, she became pregnant in junior high school. Junior high school at the age of 17 years. She was a teenager when she gave birth to Jeff Bezos. They nearly even aborted her. But they encouraged the woman to drop out of school to take care of Jeff Bezos. She was a very poor person. She didn't have money. But look at where Jeff Bezos is today. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey was so poor to the extent that she used to wear potato sacks. So she used to wear that thing. Look at how poor someone could be to the extent that the person has to wear that thing. But today she's a billionaire. There are countless number of examples that if most of the world's billionaires are to tell you their stories of where they came from. Look at Jack Ma of China. The man was so poor that he was teaching at a university, and he in one of the videos he himself said that he was making about, is it $10 a month, or either $10 or $5. I can't confirm the exact amount, but it's something around that figure. So most of the successful people didn't come from rich homes. They came from very poor homes. It's just a few of them. I'm not saying all the successful people came from poor homes, but 80% are self-made. Self-made means that they came from poor homes, or they came from homes that were not that rich. They themselves work to bring out the riches they have. Yeah, so if you believe in yourself and you are focused and you are keen on thinking, you are reading personal development, entrepreneurship, business books. That's what most of you need to read, because as I'm telling you these things, some of you won't believe it. In fact, me, myself, when I was a child, I used to even think that way. Oh, after all, I came from a poor background. How can I compete with those from the rich homes? But if you read the book, you'll know that most of the rich people didn't even come from rich homes. They themselves struggled to make the wealth that you can see today. So you have to what? Think. You have to come up with ideas. You have to start something on your own. Forget about the fact that you're from a poor background. You have something good in you that someone from the rich background doesn't have. The fourth one, what do we talk about? We're talking about I am not educated. When I say we are not educated, or I'm not highly educated, majority of you have done mistake, that problem of thinking that you must be highly educated. So when you have that kind of like they call it inferiority complex, you feel inferior. You think that when you're in a room, because you don't have a bachelor degree and the rest have bachelor degrees, or because you have bachelor degree and the rest have masters and PhDs, they are advantageous than you. It's never true. In one of my previous videos, I spoke about the true meaning of education. Education is not about having a certificate or sitting in a classroom. Education is about your mind. I have only bachelor degree, but the ideas that I have, what I can use my skills to do, There are a lot of people with PhD who can do 10% of that. So myself and those people, who is truly educated? To be educated is to what? To empower yourself, to develop your mind, to be able to use your knowledge to achieve what you want. And I said, I read 270 books in the last 5 years. Ask me how many of those who went to study PhD courses has done up to that number. So education is not about being in the classroom. You can be educated without having a degree or certificate in master's, or being a master's degree or PhD holder. So you can be, in fact, in any case, if you didn't go to school and you want to go back to school, there you can still go, or you can still take classes. You can even go on YouTube, learn a lot, Coursera, Udemy, you can learn a lot from them and have a certificate anywhere in the world. Harvard and Co. are having online classes. If you cannot go back to school, go for online classes. YouTube, if you spend your time to study things on YouTube, you'll be more educated than anyone who has gone to study whatever in that particular field. And that has been my secret since day one after I left school. I have been studying on YouTube. So you need to study. You need to read. If you read and you study, you will keep on constantly being educated. It doesn't matter. The fifth one I'll talk about is, I'm waiting for the right time. There is a saying that the right time never comes. You can continue to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And most of the time, the right time will never come. You see, life is unpredictable. A man is here today and he is gone tomorrow. Someone that you were playing with, all of a sudden you haven't heard the person was sick. All of a sudden the person is gone. Now, what lesson do you learn from this? Don't wait for the right time. Take action. Invest your time, any little time you get. Whatever you have been planning to do. I'm not saying you shouldn't plan, but don't always want to be perfect. Don't want to have everything so clear before you embark on it. Take action, make mistakes, learn, correct them, and move on. Mark Zuckerberg, before he started Facebook, he started something called Face Mash. And in fact, when he started it, that particular Face Mash app interfered with Harvard network connections when he was at Harvard University. So the university authorities shut it down. And that was the end of it. But if he didn't start that, he wouldn't have the experience to start Facebook. So it was the Face Mash that he failed in it, that he had to improve, learn his lessons, come with Facebook. That made him one of the richest billionaires in the world. Then we can talk about Bill Gates. Bill Gates first coded a particular website, okay, for this computer softwares. I don't know whether you've ever heard of DOS. He coded so many of them. In fact, he even ever coded a software for traffic, and it failed, and it caused some accidents. So they arrested him. Bill Gates was arrested because he tried something, it didn't work well, and it failed. He started another computer software program, which didn't go well. Microsoft DOS, the DOS. Those were the old in these computers. In fact, it was the Microsoft DOS that finally he improved to become this Microsoft Windows that we are now enjoying today. And it was the mistakes that he made that made him successful. And he was in school, level 200 at Harvard, that he made up the decision that, okay, he had to leave school and go and do those things. And at the end of the day, it made him successful. Do you think if he was waiting to finish school, by the time he had finished school, someone could have come out with that idea, and by now, we wouldn't ever hear of him? So what am I trying to say? Don't wait for the right time. Sometimes you have to make mistakes and learn lessons, and then you are going to be successful with it. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. I will leave a book link in the description or in the comment section that you can follow to download a book about 13 secrets school didn't teach you about how to become rich. Thank you for watching, and remember to share this video to bless others. See you in the next video. Bye bye.